We'll be right back after this. Alright, let's get back to it. We're talking about CM Punk in our last segment, so I think that's a good transition leading to our next topic. Because by all accounts of the rumors and innuendo, as they say, Punk should be coming back because executives at Warner Brothers Discovery want him to be the centerpiece of supposedly a new AEW show on Saturdays called Collision. So I got to show you guys a graphic. Listen, let me share this off the screen. I showed this to Vlad a few days ago. Robert, look at this. This is all the major wrestling shows from last week. I added up all the hours of there was no elevation. It was a best of. So luckily we didn't have to watch this, but we had 2 hours of Raw, NXT, Dynamite, New Japan, ROH, all this stuff. It totaled 23 hours and 45 minutes in 1 week. And here's the breakdown. Each one. WWE was 5 hours and a half. New Japan 10 hours and a half. They air a lot of New Japan over there. I tried keeping up with some of this, but eventually it just was impossible. I have a job and everything. But my question to you both is, now that they're adding a new show for AEW, how the hell are we supposed to keep up with all this wrestling? Vlad, you go first.
well, first of all, I'm never going to watch more than half of the stuff that you've listed there. That's for one thing. Never in a million years. Those New Japan shows you said were 4 hours each or something, and I'm never going to watch even a second of it. So that's one way. That's one way I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to watch the main stuff in America. I'm going to watch the two main companies, and I'm going to forward through the stuff I don't like, and hopefully that will make things go by quicker, faster, and as painless as possible. Because let's be honest, some of these shows on both sides, WWE and AEW, are painful. So you kind of have to pick your battles and pick what you actually want to watch. Because for with 3 hours of Raw and 2 hours of SmackDown, I'm not going to even mention NXT because I don't watch that. 2 hours of AEW. I mean, I don't think anybody watches Rampage. I mean, that's another hour. And then I don't know. I'm guessing this is going to be another 2 hour Saturday show. I mean, it can be done. It's just might as well just cut the cord on Rampage, though, because that's a useless show. Nobody cares about Rampage, so might as well just forget about Rampage. Throw it in the garbage where it belongs.
So you're a forwarder, huh? Before we get to Robert, you forward through wrestling. Let's get this straight. You for certain parts, like matches, some matches. Okay.
Oh my God, yes. Are you kidding me? Otherwise, you'd lose your mind. I would lose my mind if I didn't. I'm sorry. There's no way I could watch a 3 hour Raw without forwarding at least some of it. And the same thing goes for AEW as well. I mean, I can't. There's no way I'd lose. I'd have to take I'd probably have to start smoking or something. I don't know.
All right, we'll get back to you. Listen, Robert, I've talked to you in the past. I've known that there have been times where you fell behind in AEW, you just weren't watching for a little while. There are times in your life you kind of don't watch wrestling even. I mean, there's been times in our lives where we don't really watch wrestling. We've given up on it, or
years.
For certain years, or you spent some time catching up. Explain to us how you watch your wrestling these days.
Okay, so I do watch, well, not majority of Monday Night Raws, but maybe a little more than half of them. I didn't watch the past 2 weeks though, so I have no idea what's been happening on Raw. AEW, I watch most of them. I guess I'm more consistent on watching Dynamite than I am in watching Raw. Rampage, I almost never watch. SmackDown, I sometimes watch. I actually do enjoy SmackDown more than Raw. I'm not sure why, but I think it's a little bit better than Raw. But I just don't happen to watch it a lot because it's a Friday night, and I'd rather do something else on a Friday night. So yeah, but to to answer your question about like how are we gonna keep up with all this wrestling? Oh, let's just stick with AEW first, right? Like I don't even watch Rampage, so they're adding a third show, which is kind of nuts, right? But the only thing about this new show Collision that kind of intrigues me is that CM Punk is supposed to be like the focus of that show. So because of that, I might actually like pay attention and watch some of the episodes, only because he's gonna be on it allegedly. Um, but otherwise, if he wasn't, I'd probably not follow that either.
Do you? Because I remember we were talking about Forbidden Door last year, and you loved a lot of the matches. So you seem to watch the matches, right? You don't skip the matches. Is some people skip the matches and only watch the angles.
Wait. So that show was pay-per-view.
Yes.
I mean, if we're talking about like an episode of Dynamite, Raw, SmackDown, I I don't forward like you guys do, but that I'm not necessarily paying like giving it my full attention either.
Ah, okay, that's interesting.
Like
Yeah, that's
halfway
a good
paying
way to do
attention,
it too.
unless it's a segment that I'm actually looking forward to. Then yeah, then I'll it'll have my full attention.
So you just
But yeah, I don't.
you just leave it on
Yeah,
and do other things,
I
kind
I
of.
leave it on, just in case something cool actually happens. I
Yeah,
might catch
that's a
it.
good
But
strategy. That's a good. So you're not like Vlad, just on the forward button, just hitting it, hitting it, hitting.
I don't. But there have been times where I strongly considered it
Okay,
for
well,
sure.
I'll be honest. There's times where I'll just completely skip a match and I'll look for the pinfall and then I'll rewind a little bit to see how it led up to that pinfall, and I'm I do that quite a bit because it's just a lot of shows, man. I have a full-time job. I can't sit and watch every freaking show like Dave Meltzer. Even forwarding the show takes a good while because you still got to listen to the promos, you got to follow the storylines and stuff. So yeah, I can't sit and watch all these matches. I would love to. I would love to. If I had the time, I would love to. But it's just
I'd lose my mind.
I like it. I'm a fan of the art of wrestling. I like watching like AEW Dark sometimes, and I like to see, how good one of these new wrestlers are. If there's someone that I've never heard of, I'm like, all right, let's see how he works. Can he make it? Can he sell? Does he sell, or does he forget selling sometimes, or does the match make sense? Yeah, I like to analyze the matches. If I could, I would watch every match. I would love to be like an analyst of wrestling, but it's not my job. And I have a job like I have to show up for and I have to be rested for, so I can't stay up all night watching wrestling. But yeah, I mean, I even tried to get into New Japan this week just as an experiment, but it was just, see, these guys air everything they do. It's like they just air everything. They'll do a house show like every single day, and I guess some of their matches some of the time mean something, but a lot of it is just whatever. It's like 4-on-4 matches, 3-on-3 matches. In case you were wondering, Vlad, there's a lot of AEW type 4-on-4 matches and stuff, and I guess this is how they make their ranking systems. I don't really know. I'm still getting into it, but yeah. All right. Well, I don't know if you have anything else to add to this, Vlad, about the excessive amount of wrestling, and we're trying to do a wrestling podcast and be experts on all this, but we're admittedly not watching everything.
Do you have to? I mean, I have a pretty good idea of what wrestling is and what it should be. I don't need to watch every single wrestling show to say that I'm a student of wrestling or enjoy the art of wrestling or enjoy certain elements of wrestling. I don't think I have to watch every show that's every company that's currently active. I mean, why don't you watch? Why don't you? You didn't even include the AAA shows. You might as well have included them as
Oh
well if you're just
yeah, I
gonna.
forgot. I don't even know where that airs, to be honest.
I don't know where I couldn't. I couldn't tell you where that airs because I'm never gonna watch a second of that either. But whatever. That's just no. I don't think you have to watch every single show to talk about wrestling.
All right. Well, listen.
Agreed.
If you think Tony Khan is expanding too many shows too quickly, I have some news for you guys here. I am also adding a new show to our podcast network This will be completely separate from our Malapert Smark podcast. This is the Monster Mark Wrestling podcast. So, I know Vlad, he didn't like the idea of shooting a Mark Wrestling show where we don't break kayfabe. But me and Robert, we might give it a try. He says he says he'll give it a try. We're gonna.
Good luck to you guys. May the force be with you.
Oh,
I need a lot of that force.
You're gonna need it because you guys are gonna be some monster marks.
This is our mascot, Monster Mark, and if you break kayfabe, he's gonna throw you off the show. Okay, so. So this is coming soon to Quantum Flux Podcast Network's The Monster Mark Wrestling Podcast. All right, guys.
I'll watch it. I won't be in it, but I'll watch it. I can't wait. I'll have popcorn and everything. It's gonna be like watching John Wick. I'm gonna be just like, what is going on here?
Well, it's gonna be difficult, honestly. Robert thinks he's gonna like burst out laughing as soon as he tries to analyze this like it's real.
Absolutely.
Think how hard
It's
it must be
gonna
for these guys cutting promos, like Booker T, like the way he used to. Like, how does he not? These were talented actors, right? Incredible to go out there and like sell this and act like they think it's real and not break it, not even smirk, not even laugh at all. It's kind of difficult, yeah, but you know.
Well, when Booker T was doing the King Booker thing, I think that was the hardest thing not to laugh at that for sure. That was tough.
All right, well, listen, we got a few minutes left here. Let's try to keep this under